Hello out there. We're on the air. It's hockey.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Mike Lewis. I'm a member of the Burlington Oldtimers Hockey Club. I played last night actually and have a little limp to brag about. I'm glad you're here today. I want to welcome everybody, an official welcome to the inductees and their guests to the 80-plus Hockey Hall of Fame induction ceremony tonight. Can we have a round of applause for all the inductees? Burlington, as we know it today, is rich in history, many modern traditions of the First Nations and the Métis, from the Anishinaabe and the Haudenosaunee, and as well as the Métis. Our lands are steeped in Indigenous history, and we would like to acknowledge that land on which we gather tonight is part of the treaty lands in the territory of the Mississauga of the Credit, and we are grateful for the opportunity to work and live on this land and be in this territory. We are honored to welcome special guests this evening. Please stand up and give us a wave when I introduce you. The Honorable Karina Gould is here tonight. And the Deputy Mayor, Paul Sherman. Paul Sherman, please stand up. Halton Regional Chair and ex-professional hockey player, Gary Carr is here tonight. 80-plus board members here tonight. Herb Brennan, Wayne Watson. We also have Tony Andrea, Peter Austin, Raymond Chauvet, and Loris Bondio. I want to say a quick thank you to our gold sponsors, Rivera Living, Appleby Place, and Rivera Living, the Williamsburg. Make the most of every moment with personalized service and meaningful experiences curated to your lifestyle. Rivera is where your journey continues. And by the way, you can look for Lexi Tracy and Sarah Police. They are among us tonight, and they can tell you more about the Williamsburg and the Appleby Place. They're both retirement residences located here in Burlington. Wanted also to recognize our silver sponsors for tonight's event. Al's Source for Sports, BDO, the Burlington Oldtimers Slow Pitch, Edward Jones, Gary Marshall, Deeth and Company LLP, the Fox Group, 80-plus member Jerry Park, Heritage Place, Open Air, Smith's Funeral Homes, 80-plus member Stu Cockshut. I want to mention that Stu's widow, Heidi, is here with us tonight, sitting at Peter Austin's table. I want to welcome Heidi to the festivities. Thanks for joining us. And finally, I want to thank the CARHA Hockey Development League, the Cara Hockey if you prefer, and Bar Down Sports for their support. It is through the support of these sponsors that we are proud to host the 2022 induction ceremony tonight. Let's have a big hand for everybody involved. Now it's my pleasure to welcome Councillor Paul Sherman, who is Deputy Mayor of Burlington. He has served us in Ward 5 since 2010 and is involved in the reno for Skyway Arena, which is a big deal for us at the BOHC. He's always looking out for seniors' well-being, so let's welcome him once again, Paul Sherman. Come on up.
There you go, Paul. Thank you, Mike. Wonderful to be here. Gosh almighty, you know, how often do you come out after 2 years of COVID and seeing such a wonderful collection of people? What do you think? Whoa! I'm very excited to be here. You know, you can probably tell from my accent I don't know an awful lot about Canada or hockey. You know, Britain, you know, cricket, rugby. I mean, it was okay, but it wasn't as exciting. Boring. But I do have some little connection with the Oldtimers Club. I came out to the bar with Frank McEwen. Remember Frank? Yeah, he was a good lad, right? And so I miss Frank a lot. But in any event, he moved to Paris. Like, I guess there's hockey out there as well, is there? There's something. Anyway, and Mike said I'm the deputy mayor. We call it deputy dog. Anyway, so Marianne couldn't make it this evening, and she sends her regrets. But for me, it's an opportunity to come and talk to you, and I think that's pretty cool, don't you? Amen. So a great honor to join you at tonight's Canadian 80 Plus Hockey Hall of Fame induction. So 80 plus, is that a thing? Right, really? 80 plus?
It's only a number.
That's the new 60, right?
Yeah.
Right. So it's glad to have you come to Burlington. The first time it's being held in Ontario as well. I've been talking to people from Ottawa and from Montreal and from the United States. How many from the United States? Whoa! Excellent. Round of applause for our American friends. How many of you are not from Ontario and not from the United States? Whoa! Folks from across the country. And the rest of you, I'm assuming you're all from Ontario, is that right? Well, welcome and thank you for having me here this evening. I'm just delighted to have this opportunity to talk, as you can probably tell. Anyway, tonight we're celebrating the Canadian 80 Plus Hockey Hall of Fame inductees. Lifelong commitment, contributions to the sport of hockey is being rightfully recognized as an inspiration to us all. Gosh, I would have loved to have played hockey and not done that in Britain and come here early. Well, I think that's very optimistic of you. I'm the guy who plays golf on the alternative fairways. I get great value for money, but I don't see me. But I want to extend a special congratulations to 6 Burlington inductees this year. Peter Austin, where's Peter? Way to go, Peter. Rob Grenier. Rob, go over there. Welcome, Rob. Congratulations. Bill Lighthead. Leathead, I beg your pardon. Bill. Dave McCowan. Did I say that right? Dave. Bob Crane. Where's Bob? My buddy. Whoa, Bob. And Dave Trumbull. Where's Dave? Hey, Dave. So this event is a true testament to the work that the Burlington Oldtimers Hockey Club, BOHC, has accomplished since 1975. The BOHC has grown from just 8 teams to now 48 teams. You know all this stuff, don't you? So it's in my notes here, I have to say it. But one of the, if not the largest old-timer club in Canada, and through generous support of charity organizations, participation in events across the city, we're proud to have them as a valued part of our community. It's just have to tell you, my dad, who was 101, passed 3 months ago. It's sad, but 101, and he lived his life to the very last day. He was getting dressed to go to a meeting at 101. He was still writing articles. That's the kind of thing we got to look forward to. So 80 is young. Why are we celebrating 80 and not 100? Right? Have I exceeded my 3 minutes yet? No, thank you to the many volunteers who've worked tirelessly over the years in developing this league over the country. You've given passionate hockey players the opportunity to continue playing hockey throughout their lives. I also want to thank everyone who worked behind the scenes to make this wonderful banquet and the induction ceremony possible this evening. I hope you have a wonderful evening, enjoy this weekend's events, and have a chance to spend some time to experience the beautiful Burlington. Has anybody not been to Burlington before? This is the first time in Burlington. Really? Oh my gosh, this is one of the best places to live in the world. Just... I'm pleased to live in Burlington, and I hope you enjoy your stay. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thanks again, Paul Sherman. Let's hear it for him. All right, wanted to go back and give away our first book of the evening. Actually, maybe we'll do 2. If you haven't heard of this book, it's The Real Ironmen of Hockey. It's about men 80 years old and older who are still playing hockey. They talked to over 108 players in the US and Canada, and they got lots of data regarding health and attitude, genes, camaraderie, just a lust to play the game. Fred, by the way, was part of the USA 80-plus team that played against Team Canada at Appleby this afternoon. So let's do a couple of ticket draws right now. We'll give away up next, though, I wanted to welcome in the Honorable Karina Gould. Karina is now Minister of Families, Children, and Social Development. She has previously served as Minister of International Development and Minister of Democratic Institutions. Minister Gould has deep roots in her hometown of Burlington, and she is an active member of the community and an advocate for families, women's issues, and affordable housing. Her father is also a long-standing member of the BOHC. Karina Gold, come on up.
All right, I've got a lot of things here. Thank you so much, Mike, for that introduction. It's really great to be here. As he was mentioning, I've got a long-standing commitment to the Burlington Oldtimers Hockey League because my dad, Peter, has played pretty much since the day I was born. So we've spent a lot of time in arenas in Burlington, and I have to say the Burlington Oldtimers Hockey Club is just such a wonderful group of people in our community. Who do great work keeping the love and spirit of hockey alive. And I have to say, one of the thrills of my political career was dropping the puck today at the inductees game, right? Because I don't know how many of my colleagues have actually dropped a puck for a bunch of octogenarians, right? So I think that's something that I can tick off the list that I don't think even the Prime Minister has done yet. So I think that's pretty special. But also what was really special about today, and what is really special about today, is the fact that there are lovers of and players of hockey that have done this for decades and decades and decades. Probably for a number of you who are being inducted, you might be over 75 years of lacing up those skates and getting on the ice, which I think is pretty neat. So, I came from a hockey family. My dad played Oldtimers, my mom played in the Women's League, my three brothers played Eagles and Bulldogs here in Burlington. I even played for 2 years in high school in Robinson. I only scored one goal and it ricocheted off my stick accidentally. But I can tell you that, for those of you that love the game, it was so clear today. And it was wonderful to see how much fun you guys had out on the ice. It was wonderful to see all of the families there to support you. And it was so wonderful to see all of the volunteers in the community who made these past couple of days happen. So before I get to some other remarks, can we just give a big round of applause for all the volunteers and the organizers? And now, I would like to present our 6 Burlington inductees with a special certificate. So could I please ask Peter Austin, Rob Grenier, Bill Leathead, Dale McEwen, Bob Pring, and Dave Trumbell to come up to the stage. So could you please come up here? And I'm going to need your help, Mike, because I don't think I can do this by myself.
They're all the same?
Well, they all have their names on.
Oh, okay.
So come on up here. Bob, over here.
They look like my skates.
Yeah, here. That's actually good luck. Here, this one's for you, Bob.
Oh, thank you so much.
And for those of you who don't know, Bob was actually the referee today.
Yeah.
Right? but I heard from a well-known source, my dad, that he's actually one of the best and fairest referees in the league. So There you go. Don't go anywhere, Bob. Bob, don't go anywhere. We're going to take a picture. Dale McEwen.
There he is.
Thank you. But don't go anywhere. Bob, you got to stay up here. Yeah. Dave Trumbull.
Thank you. Congratulations. Thank you.
Bill Leathead. Rob Grenier. Hi, good. Nice to see you. And Peter Austin. And so if you'll indulge me, please give these guys a big round of applause. And tell them not to go anywhere. I know a bunch of them were trying to sneak out because we want to grab a photo. But before they go anywhere, I'll just wrap up my remarks really quickly because hockey is such a wonderful sport. It's, one that is high paced. It's about teamwork. It's, running on ice with skates. So, it's no offense, Paul, to cricket and rugby, which are great sports as well. But there's a reason why Canadians love this sport so much, and it's really wonderful to be able to celebrate these guys up here, but all of you today that are being inducted into the 80 Plus Hall of Fame. Thank you for all that you've given to the sport, and I hope that we'll continue to see you playing for many years to come. So thank you so much, everyone. Congratulations, and have a wonderful evening.
Thank you very much, Karina. Let's have a big hand for Karina Gold. We've got Mike Jones here, and in lieu of Grace, we asked Mike Jones to play Amazing Grace. And as he plays it, let's remember all our close friends and great people who are entered into the Hall of Fame. And let's also remember the people that couldn't be here tonight. Previous induction ceremonies have been held in the Ottawa-Gatineau area in Saskatoon. The Burlington Oldtimers Hockey Club is hosting the first induction ceremony in this region and are welcoming all inductees from Southern Ontario and the United States. As you know, the day included 2 games, one for the new inductees and one a final between Canada and the USA, an 80-plus game. 10 years ago, in case you didn't know, a small group of 80-plus guys in Ottawa decided to honor guys still playing at the 80-plus level by creating an 80-plus Hockey Hall of Fame. So it continued to grow, and around 2018, somebody got the idea to include a game between 80-plus Canadians and 80-plus Americans. A trophy commemorating Canada's 150th birthday was the prize for the winning team. Some of the U.S. guys have traveled from as far away as California and Alaska to be here tonight. We also have an 86-year-old. Yeah, can you believe that? California and Alaska. We also have an 86-year-old coming from Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. I thought that might get a cheer. And this weekend, the International Series included 2 games in the total goals format. I'd like to call up Peter Austin now. He's going to present along with Dave Moore and Ken McKinnon. Come on up as we can get this trophy presentation underway for the champions of the tournament going on this afternoon. We're looking for Kenny. Ken McKinnon, Dave Moore on the way.
Right here.
All right. There you go, Peter.
Okay, Ken, come on up here. Good man. Dave, come on back. Folks, these 2 guys, Dave and Ken, have put in an awful lot of work to put 2 teams together, 2 international teams, so we can have a competition between Canada and the US 80-plus players. In the past, it's been, I guess, been won twice by the Americans, once by the Canadians. So this year we have kind of evened the series. Twice by the Canadians? I'm sorry, I was once by the Americans.
Yeah, that's what he said.
Yeah. Okay, there we got it. 2017 USA, 2018 Canada, 2019 USA, and 2022 Canada. But I really want to give thanks for Ken and for Dave for putting an awful lot of work together to get all these players here across the border or from all over Ontario, and you've done a fantastic job. It's been an awful lot of work. my great pleasure to present to Dave, who is the man or the captain who put together the Ontario or the Canadian team, to present him with the trophy.
Wow. Whoa. Woo. Don't drop it.
Not a small one. There we go.
Very nice. Congratulations, guys. Passing the trophy along to the goaltender for the team. Congratulations.
You did a lot, I'll tell you. Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much.
All right, thanks a lot, guys. Congratulations once again.
You're doing this, so maybe I'll come back.
All right, we'd love to have you. And for those scoring at home, Team Canada won both games over the U.S. today, and Team Edmonton beat Team Winnipeg 6-5. And now, please allow me to introduce our guest speaker tonight, Gary Carr. He is a politician in Ontario. He has served in the House of Commons of Canada from 2004 to early 2006. Gary is currently the chair of the regional municipality of Halton. He also played pro hockey for 5 years in the farm teams with the Boston Bruins, Quebec Nordiques, and in 1975, he was a Memorial Cup champion as a member of the Toronto Marlboros. Gary, it's all yours.
Thank you very much. I'm going to tell a couple of quick stories here tonight, and then we're going to then have the inductees. I'm going to start off to say, as you were told, I've been a regional chair, I've been a member of parliament, I've been a member of provincial parliament, and so I've been served at all levels after the hockey. Now, the story how I got into politics, I came back after I was playing pro hockey, and I came back to my wife and I said, that's it, I'm so mad with what's going on, I'm going to run for political office, and I don't care if I get 2 votes, I'm running. And she looked at me and said, what makes you think you're getting my vote? That was the start of my political career. And training on my wife. So here I am with the Toronto Marlboros there, a picture, and I'm going to tell a couple of quick stories as we go through. So there's, grew up in Toronto, played, won the Memorial Cup. I'm going to tell one quick story, which is the one I tell why I got into politics. It's a story. I was playing with the Syracuse Firebirds in the American Hockey League. I had been in Rochester the year before, and of course, it was really, in those days, pretty tough league to be in. And of course, at that time, there was a fellow by the name of Dave Schultz. You all remember Dave Schultz, the toughest player in the National Hockey League, won 2 Stanley Cups with the Philadelphia Flyers. So we were playing, he'd been sent down to the farm team, was playing in Rochester, and I was in Syracuse. A lot of people say this is how my political career started. So I say to Bob, who's the referee, and by the way, when I was a speaker, which is basically a referee in Ontario, I set the record for throwing most people out. I threw 53 people out of the Ontario legislature. I said to Bob, when they fooled around, I threw them out like a referee. So we're playing Syracuse. We had a guy, if you Google the name, our tough guy was a really, really nice guy by the name of Gilles Bilodeau. Now he went by the name Bad News Bilodeau because he had like 350, I even think he hit 400 penalty minutes. He had played in Birmingham, and so the game was in Syracuse, 6,700 people at the War Memorial, and they all came to see Bad News Bilodeau have a fight with Dave Schultz. The truth is they both didn't want to fight because they, basically because their knuckles were sore from fighting. So here's the game, and I don't know what I was thinking. I was a goaltender, and in front of the net, I gave a chop to a guy. I said, Bob, I should have been throwing out. It wasn't just a little goalie chop. I gave him a 2-hander right across the ankles. Well, the play, and you know, the goalies get protected, but the play went down the other end. He didn't care about it. He skated back and came right up to me. And he looked me in the eye and he said, do you really want to go with me? To which I said, do you really want me to beat you up in front of all these people? So he said, no, of course it's ridiculous that I was at. So he gave me a little bit of a a word and then skated off. So I get back to the bench, it was the second period, long skate to the bench. And Jill says, Gary, what are you doing? You know the rule, don't wake the guy up. Don't wake him up. What are you doing? I didn't want to fight him, don't wake him up. I said, oh, Jill, I know you'd come save me. He said, Gary, by the time I get to you, there'd be nothing left of me. So my political friends say, if he's prepared to take on Dave Schultz, he's prepared to stand up to anything the political have to offer. The second story I'm going to tell you is about, so here's my career. So that's where I played: Dayton, Ohio, Columbus, Ohio, it was off to Rochester, Grand Rapids, Syracuse, Springfield, and Salem, which was kind of nice, the weather was good there. So we won the Memorial Cup with the Toronto Marlboros, and on that team we had a pretty good team. So you see, Harold Ballard is the president of the team. He's the one that gave us our Memorial Cup ring. He said you can have $1,000 or you can have a Memorial Cup ring, and I wanted $1,000. I didn't have a big contract there, but now that ring's worth about $6,700. So Harold Ballard gave it to. There's me on the right, the goaltender. I can't tell the story of why we're laughing about George Armstrong. I'll tell you that one a little bit later. So you have Bruce Boudreau, who's now coaching in the NHL. Mike Kitchen, who coached there, John Anderson, Mark Napier, all of them went on to play. So when I was going to be the regional chair, I had coached a little bit in Ryerson, and there's a couple of pictures of me down when I was in Younger's Day. So I was almost going to go back and coach. I actually did coach for a year in London Racers, in England London Racers, and my wife said to me again, I went to her and I said, so should I run for regional chair? I was going to coach in Europe and then go to Australia in the off season, and we were going to travel. The kids had all grown up. And she said, well, you can go back and play hockey later. You can go back and play hockey later. So not long ago, Bruce Boudreau, the captain there, you people will know, he's gained a little bit of weight and he doesn't have any hair. And we went to one of our first dates with the Marley party. So he comes along when he was coaching Minnesota. And I said, do you know who that is? And she said, no. I said, that's Bruce Boudreau. Oh, what's he doing now? I said, he's coach of the Minnesota in the National Hockey League. She says, how much does he make? I said, he signed a 4-year contract. He signed a 4-year contract for $12 million. And again, she said, why in the hell are you the Halton Regional Chair? Let's see, so there I was at Michigan State. I played at Michigan State and then came back. Fast forward to do a couple other ones. There was a couple of teams. That was Columbus, me on the far end there. Moving forward, there I was as a goaltender. That was the Syracuse when I was taking on Dave Schultz, and the year before in Rochester. Year married in Syracuse there. We had our first daughter, Lindsay, at that time. Move on. There's Rochester making a couple of great saves. What does it say? Gary Carr subbing for the injured Chip Petty, 41 saves. Not a bad night. That was me. Move on. There I was at Michigan State. How was that? Wonderful. I was played for Michigan State and then came back. That's Springfield on the end there, being goal. Move along with one more, and I'll get to the story about George Armstrong. There's me in Rochester. And this is the one I like here, because that really tells me what I really like on the left there. I was pretty relaxed. But the other one is the minute we won the Memorial Cup, and that's Bruce Boudreau and Mike Kitchen. And I always put that, I had that up in my office when I was a member of Parliament and provincial member of Parliament. And Jean Charest came in one day, and he was trying to get his vote for the first time he ran. And he came in and he said, what's that on the wall? Well, he's from Sherbrooke. We beat Sherbrooke and we beat New Westminster. So he said, what's that? And I said, well, I won a Memorial Cup against Sherbrooke. And it was the Sherbrooke Beavers, the Castors. He said, he was a couple years younger. He said, I remember that you beat my team. So I said to him, I tell you what, Jean, if you forgive me for beating Sherbrooke, I will support you for the leader of the party. We shook hands. To this day, when I go in there, he always goes, you're the guy that beat my Sherbrooke Beavers. It's a photo that I keep up there that symbolizes. I'm going to close with this because I know you want to get going. George Armstrong was our coach. Many of you will know, and most of you in the room are old enough to remember that the Toronto Maple Leafs actually did win a Stanley Cup in 1967. Some people, Korean is too young to remember. When I tell that story, people go, the Toronto Maple Leafs won a Stanley Cup. Well, George Armstrong, if you remember, Bob and I were talking, and he remembers this. He, Imlac, and they beat Montreal 3-1 with an open net goal. And what happened is Imlac put all of the veterans out. George Armstrong, he put Alan Stanley and all the ones out there. Jerry Sawchuk was in and replaced Bauer. And of course the puck that came to him, and he took it and sent it in the empty net. So when we were with the Marlies, we used to play at practice and play at Maple Leaf Gardens. And we'd always get George to go and shoot the puck in the net. And sure enough, he would take it just like he did and send it all the way down and put it in the net. He was a fantastic guy. He just died a couple of years ago. And what he taught us is what I think I learned from hockey. And he always used to say, and I say this to the staff, and Paul's heard me say this to our staff too, he said, you're only as good as your last game. And what he meant by that was he was the last guy to win a Stanley Cup. He quit after that. He got the Stanley Cup in '67, skated around with it, and then retired, and he never won a Stanley Cup again. And what he was telling us is you have to continually improve, because if you don't, you can be the Stanley Cup champions. It was 1967, we beat Montreal in a real classic, fantastic, but if you don't keep improving and getting better, then you end up like the Leafs have been, which is never winning a Stanley Cup. So I tell people that story because it is so important to continue to be involved. My final story is this. So people will know, obviously I was a goaltender. I served with Ken Dryden, and Ken, if you will remember, had 2 new hits when he was the Leaf president. So he said to me, he said, Carr, were you a butterfly goaltender? I said, yeah, and the butterfly goaltenders, when you go down and it's really bad for the hips, the boys have no hips. So he said, you're going to need new hips. I said, Dryden, you're just old, you used to fall down, I'm not going to need new hips. Well, a year ago, I got new hips. So I went to the doctor, and he knew, and I was telling him the story about Dryden, the hips. He said, yeah, it's bad for right here in Burlington. And he said, yeah, it's bad for the hips, but don't worry, it'll all be good. So as I was going under, I said, now, Doc, this is going to improve my golf game, and it actually has. So I went back to him and I said, I want to play old-timer hockey. He said, I don't think that's a good idea. You can't play goal. I said, no, I'm not a goalie anymore. I'm a goal scorer. I'm non-back-checking goal scorer. I don't care about the goaltenders. I never come back. And I said, and it's non-contact, so I'll be okay. And he said to me, yeah, it might be non-contact, but I've seen old-timers hockey. You guys bump into a lot. You better be very careful. But I am on the market now because I am a free agent and I made the ability to play. My hip is good, touch wood. And so I am taking free agent offers for any of the teams to come back into hockey. My final point is George Armstrong used to say, and he was a wonderful man, and he always used to say about the goaltenders in the room, he said, the goaltenders are nothing but defensemen with their brains beaten out. So that's right. That's why I got into politics as well. So ladies and gentlemen, I just want to say thank you very much for all of you do. You've been an inspiration to all of us. Karina will know this, and certainly Paul knows this. As chair of the region, I'm also chair of the Halton Board of Health, and we are continually stressing for people to stay in shape. Not only at the young level, which we have to do as kids are growing up, but certainly all through the ages, we have to participate in something. So find something that you like to do and then begin to do it. And you are doing that. That's what keeps you young, that keeps you having fun, and that is what life is all about. So thank you very much for whatever you want to do. I think I'm at table. We're taking offers over here. Table 16. Bob, you're going to be my agent now, and we're going to give me a contract like Bruce Boudreau for 12 years or 4 years. Oh, we'll try. So thank you very much, everyone. And to the inductees, I want to say, super job. We're so proud of everything you do. We'll see you on the ice. And remember, when you're out there, keep up the good work. My final thing I will say, and this is what I talk about, we are so fortunate, and Karina's heard me say this, and Paul, we live in the most beautiful, you've got the lake out there, it's a great lake, the most beautiful freshwater lake in the world for the people that haven't been around here. We have the escarpment up in the north, which is gorgeous, it's a world biosphere, but what makes it is the people in the community. It's the community like you are doing, playing hockey and being welcoming to everybody from all these other communities. So we'll see you on the ice, keep up the great work, and we are so very, very proud of everything you do. Thank you so much.
Let's hear it for Gary Carr. Great job. I've had a few people ask about the photos that we've been seeing on the big screen, so if you are interested in getting some of those photos, we're going to have them up on our website in a couple days. So you'll go to bohc.ca in a couple days and you'll be able to download those photos or which ones that you do want. I want to remind everybody the silent auction going well, but time is limited. You've got till 9 o'clock. The silent auction bidding closes at 9 o'clock. Some great items out there. If you haven't seen them yet, go check them out. Make a bid. All the proceeds go into charities. We support the Carpenter Hospice. And also wanted to mention, we have Stomp and Tom Connors coming up here. We're going to play it for you in just a second. But I want to remind you, it's kind of a cue for you because we're ready to do the inductions. So we're going to play Stomp and Tom. The guys are going to get ready to be inducted into the Hall of Fame. And we'll be back after a short washroom break. Maybe you want to make a bid at the silent auction. Maybe you want to get a drink. We'll be back in 10 minutes. Thank you. Thank you, Mike. Let's hear a hand for Mike on the bagpipes. And congratulations to all the inductees.
What do you want? Herb.
All right, let's have a big round of applause for all our inductees. Congratulations, gentlemen. I want to welcome the Secretary of the 80-plus Hockey Hall of Fame, Herb Brennan. And what's going to happen next is Herb will knight our 31 inductees into the Hall of Fame, as is the custom. He will use a Sherwood hockey stick signed by all the inductees here tonight. We will have a chance for family to take photos at the photo booth after they receive their medal. Afterwards, after we get done all the inductees looked after, then we're going to move to the gift bag area, and the inductees will pick up a gift bag as their final act coming up here on the main stage. So we've got Loris Bordio and Raymond Chauvet as well as Wayne Watson helping out. Number 1 on the list, Blair Anderson from East York, Ontario. Blair is a left winger. He has a large family with 5 grandkids, 6 great-grandchildren. He worked in traffic, transportation, and engineering. He began his hockey career in the 50s with the Scarborough Lions. Once again, Blair Anderson. Inductee number 2, Peter PJ Austin from Burlington, Ontario. Peter is a board member of the BOHC, elected as treasurer for several years and a member since 1988. He was instrumental in creating our amazing BOHC summer season and ran it for 10 years. Peter helped in our campaign to have Stu Cockshut entered into the Guinness Book of World Records as the oldest hockey player in the world. Once again, Peter Austin. Inductee number 3, Donald Baldy Bald from Halifax, Nova Scotia. Aldi went on to Dalhousie University, McMaster, and to Michigan State, studying as a physical education teacher and a financial advisor. He never missed a hockey season except for 1 year while he was studying in the U.S. He began coaching at high school levels and did that for 8 years, followed by coaching Pee Wee, Major Midget, and Junior A levels for the further 10 years. Once again, Donald Balds. Inductee number 4, Brian Bucky Beckett.
Congratulations.
Brian was born in 1940. He's a high school teacher. Got his Bachelor of Commerce at Dalhousie University, Dalhousie I should say, where he played varsity hockey as a winger. Brian played in the first Canadian Oldtimers tournament in Peterborough back in 1975. Brian Beckett. Inductee number 5 is Tom Clancy from Kitchener, Ontario.
Congratulations, Tom.
Tom's been with Niagara Parks. He's got his Niagara Parks diploma and a Bachelor of Arts at Cornell University as well. Tom was an arborist for 5 years, Director of Parks for 25 years, and General Manager of Community Services in Kitchener for 6 years. Once again, Tom Clancy. Inductee number 6, please welcome John Clark from Sussex, New Brunswick. John began his hockey career at the age of 10 with the Scarborough Lions, and he's played in tournaments in midget and juvenile all-stars. Once again, John Clark. Inductee number 7, Keith Cookie Cook from Barrie, Ontario.
Congratulations, Cookie.
Cookie has been married for 62 years. 62 years married, was a tool and die maker. Keith played minor and bantam to juvenile hockey and junior B as well as Oldtimers. Once again, Keith Cookie Cook. Inductee number 8, Larry Dowd from Lions Head, Ontario.
Congratulations, Larry.
Larry received his first pair of skates at the age of 6. He's a defenseman, made it to play junior hockey. Also played freshman hockey at Cornell and played with Ken Dryden. Once again, Larry Dowd. Inductee number 9, Fleur Driscoll from Peterborough, Ontario. Fleur was a chef at St. Joseph's Hospital and dietary manager at Fairhaven Home. He's played Pee Wee, Panam, Midget, Junior C, and was an old-timer for 35 years. Still plays today at 80 years young. Once again, Fleury Driscoll. Inductee number 10, Gordon Flan from Sarnia, Ontario.
Congratulations, sir.
Gordon was a teacher, contractor, and member of the RCAF. He got his first pair of skates at the age of 6. Once again, Gordon Flan. Inductee number 11, Marvin Glazier from Kincardine, Ontario. Marvin is a University of Toronto graduate. He was a dentist and, more importantly, a rep level centerman. Marvin Glazier. Inductee number 12, Robert Bobby Grenier from Burlington. Bob is a retired iron worker and is famous for his iron grip, which surprises most people when they shake his hand. Bob has been a valued forward with the BOHC since 1985 and is equally adept at all-star slow pitch. Once again, Robert Bobby Grenier. Inductee number 13, Henry Hank Hamel. All right, our next inductee, number 14 on the list, Bob Hogarth from Caledon, Ontario.
Congratulations, Bob.
Bob is our Team Canada goalie. He was born in Orangeville, worked as a trucker and in the trucking and storage business. And he's been to too many tournaments to count, including some in Florida. Bob Hogarth. All right, inductee number 15, Robert Whitey Kurchinski from Sauble Beach, Ontario.
The man with the name.
Whitey was born in Kitchener, became the director of the City of Waterloo Parks and Maintenance Department, and his favorite saying is skate fast, shoot hard, and don't tear the jerseys. There you go. That's Robert Kurchinski. Inductee number 16, John Toad Lavalier, Markdale, Ontario.
Congratulations, John. Well done.
John was born in Quebec and worked at Canada Post for 35 years. Once again, John Lavallée. Number 17, Gilles Disco LeBlanc from Lakefield, Ontario.
Mr. Disco.
I want to know why he's named Disco.
Story there.
Yeah. He worked at Ontario Hydro for 28 years, lists his hobbies as real estate, landlord, building, cottage, biking, skiing, and his favorite hockey player, Frank Mahovlich. Gilles LeBlanc, otherwise known as Disco. Inductee number 18, Bill Leadhead from Burlington.
Congratulations, Bill. Good job. Good job.
Bill learned to play hockey on Speed River in Guelph. He was born in Port Glasgow, Scotland. He also played intermediate at Martin and Bankley Junior B. Once again, Bill Leadhead from Burlington. All right, inductee number 19, David Millette from McDougall, Ontario.
Congratulations, David. Well done.
All right, inductee number 20, Nicholas Big Burb Motassian from Switzerland.
Congratulations, well done, well done.
Nicholas was an economist and a business executive, as well as a university professor. His hockey career began in 1946, and he still plays today. Once again, Nicholas Matosian. Next inductee, Dale McEwen from Burlington, Ontario.
Congratulations, Dale.
Dale worked for 40 years with the Ford Motor Company of Canada. Might be one of the shortest players on the ice, but he plays like Zdeno Chara. Never backs down from a play or any other player. Dale's fierce on the ice and one player that you always want on your team, not against. Once again, that's Dale McEwen from Burlington. And our next inductee is Fred Merchant from Boulder, Colorado.
Good job.
He is the author of the book we were giving away earlier tonight, The Real Iron Men of Hockey, born in Cape Breton, Nova Scotia. He played junior and varsity hockey and left the game at age 21 and returned at age 69. Fred Merchant. Our next inductee, Ken Moyes from Cambridge, Ontario. Ken Moyes.
Good boy, Ken. Well done. Congratulations.
Ken has played hockey in Barrie, Huntsville, St. Pete's, Virginia Beach, Florida, Niagara Falls, Santa Rosa, Lake Placid, Rochester, and Detroit, just to name a few. Ken gets around. Ken Moyes. Up next, Bob Metziger. Bob Metzger, Malley, from Kitchener, Ontario.
Bob, congratulations. Well done.
All right, Bob Metzger from Kitchener. Our next inductee, Ron Nosy Payne from Innisfil, Ontario.
Congratulations, Ron. Well done.
Ron got his first pair of skates at the age of 7. He's still using them today. No, he's presently enjoying tournaments. He's been doing so since 1974. Once again, Ron Payne.
Ron Payne, okay.
Yeah. Up next, Bob Pring from Burlington, Ontario.
Well done,
Bob
sir.
Pring.
Well done.
Bob has almost 60 years experience as a hockey ref. He is our favorite here at the BOHC and a mentor to young referees. Once again, Bob Pring. Inductee number 28, Terry Roberts from Toronto.
Congratulations, Terry. Well done.
Terry, by the way, put on his first pair of skates when he was 44 years old. He's played with Burlington Oldtimers, Niagara Icetimers Senior League, Burlington Silver Bullets Tournament, and he also ran at 7 a.m. on a Saturday morning a running league in Burlington, over 40 years in the organization. Once again, Terry Roberts. Our next inductee, Walter Slade from Kingwell, Newfoundland.
Congratulations, Walter. Well done. Well done.
Walter worked for Signate Steel for 32 years, began his hockey career in the 1950s with the Scarborough Lions. His favorite saying is, "Oh, me nerves." That's Walter Slade. Inductee number 30, David John St. Andrews from Essex, Ontario.
Congratulations, well done.
David worked as an iron worker as well as a high school teacher. His hockey career includes playing with the Shelburne Huskies and once again the over 65 Ontario Seniors League, David John St. Andrews. Inductee number 31, Davy Trumbell from Burlington, Ontario.
You saved the best for last. Congratulations.
Dave worked at Stelco and also with Shoppers Drug Mart. He's enjoyed 50 years as a hockey player, playing with the Silver Bullets and several other individual tournaments. Davy Trumbell from Burlington. And Dave Millette. If Dave Millette can come back up, we're going to get him to induct Don McCormick, who unfortunately passed away recently. Dave Millette, come on back up, as we need to induct Don McCormick.
Here it comes.
Here comes Dave.
Good of you to do this on his behalf.
Thank you very much, Dave McCormick, on behalf of Dave Millette, on behalf of the McCormick family. Those are your 2022 inductees into the 80-plus Hockey Hall of Fame. Let's hear it for all our inductees.